So I'm recording now, so everything we say is recorded.
So I can't say bollocks.
You can say bollocks. You can swear if you want. Some people swear.
Do they?
Yeah. But then I have to put a
Bleep.
No, I have to click something that says explicit content.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So what's wrong with sending something back from
Well-
a restaurant or something?
I am known as a complainer.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, I've taught people how to complain properly.
I think what stops most people complaining is just a sense of social awkwardness.
Yeah.
I don't want to make a fuss. That's very much part of the culture here. But you're happy to make a fuss and say,
Yeah.
look, I have actually... But also, it might be to do with the fact that, isn't it the case that you're involved with food as a business?
Yeah.
You want customers of your business to be happy.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't mind if they complained about your food, because then you would look like, I want to improve my food.
100%. Yeah. And also, I know in a weird sort of way, I find it sexy, you know. I do. I find it sexy when people sort of like get really, you know, they're really particular and stuff. Maybe I want to be sexy and I'm very particular, so I'm projecting. But
it's sexy to complain
yeah,
and to want the best.
Yeah, I like people who. I mean, I don't think anybody could be particular enough for me. I mean, you know, you kill people with kindness. You know, you get a really difficult customer, and I can't do enough for them, and nothing they're going to do is going to make me not smile. So
that's interesting. So you kind of really like that challenge.
Yeah.
And you're less interested in the person who's very happy with the product.
Well, I would encourage the person that's not happy to say something. I mean, I often say to customers, you know, is that okay? Is that coffee the right temperature? You know, if it's not, let us know. And no, because I am so particular as a person, you know, it reflects in the cafe. You know,
that's interesting.
And I want people, you know, if they don't like something, if someone like a cake, for example, you know, I mean, and they have a couple of bites, but you know, I've had those customers who've ate the lot, and then say, oh, you know, that was a bit dry. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
You know, don't really want to give the money back or offer something else if they've eaten it all.
If it's already in their tummy.
So there's a, you know.
So when you said you teach people how to complain also, is that friends?
Yeah, friends, like really.
What, you encourage them? You're just like, go on, don't be shy.
First of all, most of the time over the years, I'm the complainer for everyone.
Right.
Because I don't mind complaining. I've no problem with it. I mean.
Right, Susie's bold. We'll
not
ask.
Rude.
Not rude.
Not rude.
Right.
Polite. I think you need to be polite with your complaint.
What about
because I don't want anybody to spit on my steak or trample it on the floor.
Yeah,
I've heard some horror stories in the kitchen, so I'm probably the politest complainer.
Right. Because we have all heard those horror stories of what happens in the kitchen, and whether they actually happen or not, we don't know.
I think they probably do. Oh. It's scary. So if you are going to complain, you've got to be very, very nice about it.
So. When you started your business, you run a cafe.
Yeah.
When you started it, where was the customer in what you were thinking about? Was it all about the customer, or was it about the profit margin? Was it?
Do you know
who was it for? What were you doing?
Well,
what were you driven by?
I never wanted to have a cafe. I mean, that is the truth. I wanted to be an actress, film director, you know. All of those things.
Right.
But I was so self-conscious when I went on a few acting classes, and I just thought, I heard this story about, what's his name, Frank Spencer, Michael Crawford.
Right.
And he would like be physically sick before he went on to perform, and I was just like, well, I just couldn't put myself through that. No, you know, I took myself out of it really. I was too self-conscious, but.
So it didn't feel comfortable. But if it doesn't feel comfortable, then it isn't for you.
But
or did you still think you could push through on it?
No, I felt like maybe now I could push myself to do sort of amateur dramatics or something, just as an interest and a hobby. But at that time, I obviously didn't want it enough, because I think if I did, you'd push yourself through those difficult feelings and obstacles.
Do you know, I was talking to somebody else for the podcast, a French musician called Naomi, and she said the first time she went on stage for a gig, she hated it and she thought she'd made the worst mistake in her life. But it's that thing that she said that she felt driven to push through that pain barrier and get it done and learn it.
Yeah.
And maybe, is that what you're talking about? You feel that you need to just, if you want to do it, you need to have that drive to push you through.
Yeah, and also, these days I'm much more into challenging fears and things than I was back then.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Is that something to do with age?
I think so, yeah.
And confidence.
It is for me, yeah. Also, there's a lot, I think we're always, it's these difficult things that happen in life, that's the gold, because that is the opportunity for you to go into those difficult feelings that come up and those demons and actually face things. And I think we grow much more through difficult things, through difficult times, than when, you're on the beach having that cocktail and,
It is true that we learn through the negative, not through the positive. When everything's going hunky-dory, then there's not much of a story to tell, there's not much to learn.
No, that's right. So, I'm bobbing about a bit, sorry, because I know your initial question, I will come back to them all. I do this with my girlfriends, we talk about 10 things and we cover them all. But you were talking about the shop and stuff, and, my interest, what was driving me. But I actually, I had an antique shop.
Right.
And
that's very different from a cafe.
It is, but that was where my interest was, in vintage and antiques, and I opened up a shop. I had it for 3 years, and it just didn't work in the area. It just didn't.
So the
wasn't
physical
the right time.
The physical place it was not where the right customers were.
It was just the area was amazing. It was going to be amazing, but it wasn't amazing then. I was about sort of 10 years too early. So,
right, interesting. So you recognise in hindsight you were ahead of the curve, and it would work 10 years later in exactly the same place.
Absolutely. And what would happen is I would I would decide that that's it, and I would be ready to, shut the doors. And then someone would walk in and buy about $3,000 worth of stuff, like an interior design, and I was like, oh, I'll stay open for a bit longer. And that went on for about a year and a half. And that's so in the end, I looked at the area and realised that what was needed was a good cafe, because there wasn't one. And
that's really interesting that you basically completely changed your business by trying to understand the area. Just like, okay,
absolutely.
This business will work. I'll just switch.
Yeah, I mean, and it was really based on me, because I couldn't get a decent coffee. I couldn't get any artisan bread or pastries. So I really created that shop for me, and it worked. No, I didn't. I'm joking, but there
has to be a certain amount of kind of like selfishness in you're never going to sell something you hate.
Yeah, no, that's right. Actually, that's not true, because I do have mustard in the shop.
And you don't like mustard?
I can't bear it, yeah. But you have to have certain things, don't you? But yeah, I know what you mean.
When you wanted to be so anyone listening will think this is a really interesting collection of things. You were interested in being an actress.
Yeah.
You sold antiques. You then turned to running a cafe.
Yes.
With artisan bakery and like nice coffee. You've got a wide lens.
Oh, it's wider.
You haven't got a narrow lens. You've got a wide lens.
It's wider. But yeah, I've got a wide lens. Yeah.
Which shows it's almost like a magpie. You're interested in lots of different things.
I am, and actually I am very much now, because I'm sort of like wanting to develop, and actually I've got idea to open up a healing cafe, which I've had for about 3 years, but it's just finding somebody to who wants to go on that journey, because I don't want to do it on my own.
What's a healing cafe?
So, well, a healing cafe to me is organic produce, and very much like the food that you'll be eating benefits certain things. So if you've got high blood pressure, you might have, something with lots of pomegranates in, or lots of beetroot, So it's just about eating for vitality, for energy, for well-being. And then also, I wanted to do little workshops there, like creative workshops, and then maybe some more meditation and some talks on everything. There's these deaf cafes. Have you heard of deaf cafes?
No.
Yeah, where people get together and talk about, if people are, because
if people have got terminal illnesses?
No, or people have
hearing?
lost. No.
So which deaf are we talking?
That would be funny, wouldn't it? No, like dying.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that is funny. I've just got this vision of all these deaf people and blind, some bumping into each other.
Oh dear, it would be dark humour.
That would be so.
Okay, so
that's too dark.
There are these cafes where people who have got a terminal illness go in a collective. No.
I don't know about that.
Right.
But
let's go back to the one that you want. The
one I know of is like people that lost a loved one, or something.
Okay.
So it could be a husband, a child,
right.
A relative, someone who's going through a bereavement.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, it can be quite isolating if you haven't got the right, network around you, support, whether that's friends or professional. Not everybody has, and not everybody's good at asking for help. So,
and also, who do you ask for
or
help?
recognizing that they're in, some kind of, turmoil. So you could go to a cafe and talk, open up conversations about death, and these happen. They're actually, if you look, it's Google Deaf Cafe.
Okay.
They come up. So.
Okay.
So I just find that really interesting. So I just wanted to open up conversations of everything. Could be depression, it could be, what is happiness, big conversations. And
you'd have to have a lot of patience, because, if someone wants to come in and offload and go through their stuff, whoever's in the cafe, whoever's working in the cafe would have to be very patient.
No, this would... You should be a comedian. You really should.
Am I just? I could keep on getting the wrong end of the stick.
No, but it's funny. Every time you say something, I actually visualise it. I visualise you like having a queue of like 10 people, and someone's standing at the counter saying,
you've had your time.
I say, I'm really sorry, but we've been chatting for an hour, and these people are getting impatient. Oh, funny. No, it'd be in the evening, Dave. I haven't really, formulated it properly. These are just ideas.
But those kind of ideas must keep you going. Okay, you must be an entrepreneur. If you've always got ideas.
I've always had ideas.
And you're thinking about what other things could work, what other things am I interested in.
I've got an entrepreneurial spirit.
Where does that come from? Did that come from, when you talked about being you wanting to be an actress, are these things that go back to childhood?
Yeah,
were you the kid that sold sweets in the playground? Were you the kid that liked to perform?
Yes, I did sell.
Oh, you did sell sweets?
I did sell sweets, and also
I've always
I
had
made
this theory.
perfumes out of petals and sold them.
So it was very early that it all started.
Actually, it's interesting you say that, because I never really connected the dots. This is the first time talking about it now.
Well, I've always had this theory that anyone who's successful in business must have got the bug early, because most people just don't have it, and I think it's just something you've got to learn early to understand. That's my little pet theory.
Yeah. I mean,
so you made perfume out of petals?
Yes. Yeah.
How much did you sell it for?
Rose water. Do you know? I can't remember. It's such a long time
Was it like
ago.
10p?
Something like that. Yeah. But I see. My background education was, it's strange, because I don't see myself, when I look at myself, I don't see myself as a rebel. when I was younger, but my parents do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know that I stopped going to school. I never took any qualifications or anything like that. I left. Well, I didn't get kicked out, but the teachers just said don't come back. So
Right,
I mean,
they made it clear.
Yeah, they made it clear. So, and I think that sort of stems. So basically, what happened was, you know, like when you're. I mean, things have changed so much now. You know, we've got like names for so many things. You know, years ago you were just a naughty bastard. Now you're like, oh, they're this, they're on the spectrum, they're, you know, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not...
There's 100 names from 100 different conditions.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that we are giving more attention to children that, like, need more support and that, you know, but for me, I'm just talking about from my personal experience, I did a few naughty things and then I was the naughty girl. So even when I wasn't being naughty,
you got the label.
I was blamed, and that really, really.
Did you have a sense of injustice?
Me. Oh, totally, and actually, that's when I stopped going to school. You know, I just,
like, it's just not fair.
Yeah, I lost interest, unfortunately, because there's a few things that I was naturally good at school. And enjoyed, but I just didn't want to be there. So I just literally used to go in and clock in and then...
Bunk off,
yeah, but Mum and Dad really sort of saw me as quite rebellious. But I'm just saying it's interesting because looking at myself, I didn't feel rebellious.
You also said a bit earlier on about confidence and how we build confidence. You feel more confident as you've got older.
Yeah, but there's a long way to go. There's a long, long way to go. I'm just realising now that I really do would like to work more on my confidence, my inner confidence.
But you must have had inner confidence back then when you were a kid to bunk off, to say, I'm not going to do this, to go your own way at an early age takes confidence, because most kids are conformers and we want to be part of the group, we want to do what everyone else is doing. So to kick against the traces and going, I'm not going to do what everyone else is doing, shows an inner confidence. So your parents must have given you, or you must have learned.
You know, I sorry, I'm looking at the ducks over there.
We're sitting by a cafe by a lake, lovely. And there's some lovely ducks.
So lovely.
Wow, they're gorgeous.
Sorry, what was the question again?
About being confident when you're a kid.
Yeah, I think there's layers. You know, I think I think we're born. We're probably born perfect, and then That's a lovely phrase. Born perfect. Yeah, and then you slowly get fucked up by your dysfunctional parents. You know how the story goes.
Or others.
Or
everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
Events.
Yes, but it starts with the parents, doesn't it? It starts there.
That famous Philip Larkin poem. Do you know the Philip Larkin poem?
No. Please share.
So it's, if I remember it rightly, it's a very short poem about parents and the role they play, and the famous line is, they fuck you up, your mum and dad, they don't mean to but they do, they give you things they didn't have and add a few in just for you. Something along those, and there's like a few verses like that, basically saying how parents unintentionally.
Oh, how interesting. Yeah,
it's where you look it up, it's worth it.
I will. So yeah, I mean, so that was school, and then no qualifications.
And was that seen as a problem at the time? Were you
Not
like, I've got no qualifications, it's a big problem?
No, actually, honestly, hand on heart, I never thought like, the young people growing up today, it's so like they're all at uni, or they're thinking about what they're going to do with their life and everything, and I really wasn't. But fortunately, I got picked up by a modelling agency when I was like 16. So that was at the point, Dad had set me up with a market stall.
Right.
Given me a loan, and so I that's what I thought I was going to be doing. I thought I was going to be a market trader. And then I got picked up by an agency. So I turned 17 in the December, and then I was in Japan.
Oh my
in the
goodness.
January for 6 months, and I think that was
My goodness.
that was life changing, because being away in a completely different, with different culture, and meeting different people every day on different jobs, that does build confidence
That's
on a level,
extraordinary. But
on
that's
a level.
extraordinary to be in Japan age 17.
Yeah.
Just thrown into a completely
And
different
it was
world,
amazing.
a world you didn't
I have
know.
to say, it's one of the best. I never realised at the time it was going to be one of the best times of my life, but it definitely was, if not the best. I mean, because, it's your first experience. You've got nothing to compare it to. It's like, freedom.
It's very formative.
Yeah, freedom. And I loved it.
And you're suddenly an adult.
Yeah.
Because suddenly there's nobody telling you what to do or looking after you.
I came back an adult, and actually my relationship changed completely with my mum, because before then we really did, clash, and I came back with that time apart, and we, since then, we've got the most beautiful relationship. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah, that time was really important, I think, to have away from mum.
That's amazing. Wow, and that's just like fortuitous. Somebody saw you or spotted you in the street and said,
actually,
"You'll do. Your face fits."
You know what? It's funny, because someone was talking to me about that the other day, asking me how I got into it, and I haven't heard that question for so long. I don't. It's almost like another lifetime ago. There's nothing about my life now that I recognise from those years. I think I modelled for about 12, 15 years, and there's nothing,
That was a different world.
It was a completely different world. There's nothing about my life now that resembles anything, apart from a couple of girls that I keep in touch with, one in particular, so that brings it back when we meet for lunch or whatever. She's actually still modelling. I see her on adverts and stuff, because you can model at any age, can't you?
Yeah.
That granny that's eating the cornflakes, on the advert.
She's getting paid for it.
She's getting paid for it. But no, what happened was I was in Oxford Circus, and someone, like a scout or whatever, said, I think you'd be good modelling. And then they gave me a card. I went to see them. They wanted a lot of money for me to do some photographs.
Why? Why did you have to pay them?
Well, it's always like that. You do have to pay for your test shots.
Right, okay.
Because the photographer who's doing your test shots, they're probably kind of not learning, but they're not professional photographers. If they were, they wouldn't be doing, at the time when I was doing it, it would have been about £30 or something. So,
and this is before the time of phones. Nobody can pull out a phone and take a few shots. This is proper studio camera work.
Exactly. So I went to an agency in London. I found an agency in London, a very reputable agency, and I went there. And I said to them, so it must have been in me at a very young age.
That
this
confidence
kind of,
thing again.
This, I've been approached by these people, is this legitimate? And they said, we're not sure, but we'd like you to do some pictures for us. And that's how it started. So it was with a very reputable agency, and I had a really nice, I had a nice career out of it, and then it was good, yeah.
You said that your dad initially set you up with a market stall.
Yeah, he was going to. It didn't quite happen.
What was he doing? What was his job? How could he do that?
Oh,
did he work in the market?
No, actually, no. I think he was just thinking.
Connections?
I think he was just no, not at all. No, he was like in heating and engineering, but I think he just thought it's.
It's a useful thing.
Nuts, but it's like, what can she do?
What can I do to keep her out of trouble?
Yeah. It's like, I'm not, it's like, what can you do with no qualifications and, and being good with people. So on the market stall, you have to chit chat and, oh, that dress looks lovely. Oh, it really suits you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't
do
do that. But you have to sort of have that rapport with people. Well, you don't have to, but I mean, it helps. He must have thought that would have been a good thing for me to do without any qualifications.
Yeah.
Just to get me up and working.
And also to have a people. I think it's always important when you're when you're young and you're starting out, to have a people-facing job when you're dealing with people all the time, because that gives you confidence.
Yes.
I mean, you're obviously not lacking in confidence because of all the things you've done in your life.
I do suffer with some lack of confidence. I haven't really unpicked it, you know.
Do you see it as a strength sometimes? Do you see it as a human trait that we all have? Or do you see it as a barrier, like the lack of confidence? Do you see it as something you wish you didn't have?
Yeah, I would like to work on that. To understand it more.
I think we all have lack of confidence at certain times. And some people have it more than others, overtly. But even people very much in the public eye will have moments. I mean, I think it's rare that you get someone who doesn't feel it.
Yeah, actually, funnily you should say that, because there's podcasts that I'm listening to at the moment. I love the guy, so like he's brilliant, and everything he says is like resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say his name or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
So his name, I don't know if you know Peter Crone.
No.
Do you know Peter Crone? He's just brilliant. I mean, I just absolutely love everything, you know, where he's coming from, and he's saying that, you know, we all want unity. We all want unity at the end of the day, you know. And there's so much we strive for independence and separation, but actually, you know, we're all interconnected. You know, if you really believe that we're all interconnected and we're all one, then it kind of dissolves that separation that a lot of people feel at this time now. You know, everything's so you know, with social media and everything, how things have gone. Just feel like a lot of people feel isolated, actually. I mean, he talks about stuff like that, and he just talks about I wish I could put it on and just, you know, hear it from him.
I'll look it up. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, no, really, you should.
So you're interested in exploring your own feelings, thinking about stuff, going deep, listening to podcasts, working things out?
I have for a long, you know, since I can remember, like my early 20s, I was always buying self-help books, and I still am. I mean, I don't know what good they've done, but, you know, there's been an interest there. The first book I picked up was The Road Less Travelled, and you know, it really resonated with me.
And what was that about? I think I've heard of it, but is it like a famous book?
Yeah, it's just about like not being codependent, you know.
We all think about that when we have relationship problems.
Yes.
Don't we? We're just like, am I depending on the other person for my happiness, or am I happy?
Interdependent is where we want to be. But so things like the Celestine prophecies, and, you know, everyone was sort of like buying those books at the time. I thought they were, and The Power of Now. So many books. My shelf, if you come to my flat, my shelf is just full of self-help books. And, you know, going on holiday, everyone reading a nice novel.
You've got your nose in a self-help.
I've got my nose in a self-help book. But it's always been like that. It's never been any different.
But, you know, the interesting thing about you saying that is that if I'm on the tube and someone's reading a self-help book, my initial thought as just a casual passerby is they're feeling vulnerable, and they're unsure what to do. But it sounds like you've never been quite in that position.
No,
because you've never had that feeling of vulnerability yourself.
I have. But I mean, I've been. I mean, my take on it is vulnerability is a strength. So it's that line and the John Lennon, what John Lennon said. You know, that you need to something about being strong enough to let your vulnerability show. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with things. It's not about walking about, you know, feeling vulnerable to the world, but actually saying, yeah, you know, I'm in touch with my vulnerability, and I'm not scared to show it, because there's like those things in relationships where if I really show my true self and I share myself, then in an argument he's going to use it against me. That goes so much. You get annoyed with your partner and it's like you've got all that dirt on them, and it's like, yeah, you're this, you're that, and then you're saying, oh no, I shared that with you, my innermost fears and stuff. So there is that, but I think as time goes by, I feel less and less bothered by what people say.
Do you reckon that's a natural process of aging? It is. I think specifically female friends of mine do speak about it more than male friends.
Yes.
In terms of a change in confidence.
Yeah.
And I think it is a bit gendered in that way.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we are so different, aren't we? I mean, I'm realising that more and more, but I suppose it's somehow about celebrating those differences and learning to live together, if you're in that situation. Trying to make someone what you want them to be, celebrating our differences. I mean, that is really where we want to be heading. Interestingly enough, I listened to one of, just really briefly last night, I listened to one of your podcasts about a lady talking, and I was like, what the hell have I got to say? I swear, I was like, what the hell have I got to say? That's the insecurity. And I think that is what I feel insecure. I know we're multifaceted. I am strong. I am this. I'm confident. There's many different, facets. But one of my biggest facets is I do feel insecure, and that played out by thinking, what have I got to talk about? What have I got to talk about that's that interesting? And it's like I haven't stopped talking.
but that initial reaction of yours is a natural one. It's not it's not artificially created, but it's a genuine emotional response. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not, because I didn't have an education at school. Am I articulating myself, properly? Like, I mean, they would be the, the fears
that's
that maybe
hardwired in.
Yeah, that's hardwired in. Yeah.
Even though the reality is the complete opposite. You're very articulate.
Yeah,
you're full of ideas.
Oh, yeah.
You're very emotionally strong. You're confident. You've run businesses. That's interesting. It's still hardwired in.
But I think that's part of the journey that I'm on now. Is these limiting beliefs and patterns. It's like breaking that. I think Peter Crone's going to come in handy.
Back to those self-help books.
Yeah.
And those self-help podcasts.
I enjoy reading them though.
Is it a sense of comfort?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not sure if this is actually true, but it's a thought of wanting to heal, wanting to be a better person, wanting to be more, sharpen up the intuition, like from what we have, from what we've been given by our ancestors, and all of these things, instinct, all these things that we've kind of like, we're not really as in tune with, now. And sort of like, so I'm interested in that. But someone said something really interesting the other day about healing, is that, you sort of think you're going to get healed, but it's just not, life's just not like that, It's like it's an ongoing process of healing something, and something else comes and slaps you in the face, and then it's like, okay, let's heal that. And so it's just a never-ending journey of, you never actually get healed. When I heard that, I was a little bit disappointed, but yeah.
You were just like, oh. I thought there was an end point.
Yeah, no. You're like this perfect person, then someone comes and shoots you in the head because you're so perfect. You don't need to be on the planet anymore. Your work's done.
You got a dog with you?
Yeah.
Should we take your dog for a walk?
Yes.
Because she or he has been waiting very patiently by us.
He is the most. This dog is amazing.
Right, now tell me about the dog as we walk. Tell me about the dog as we walk.
He's full of joy. He's just an absolute joy. He's an absolute joy.